What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Lost Records Journal, Play One Visible's Lost Records Focus podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Adnan. My co-host Adam is here. Adam, you here?
I'm here. I am present. I'm here.
Yes, you're here. I'm holding you stay present because obviously we have a very, very special guest and we can't ignore her. It's a big Gizo moment if we do ignore her. One of Canada's greatest exports we have here with us. A big warm and a big meowdy for none other than Olivia Lepore, Swann Holloway herself. Olivia, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Yep,
How are
thank
you
you for
guys?
coming
Okay,
on.
yeah, absolutely. We're so excited to have you on because we never actually had a guest on yet, and it's crazy that you're our first guest, and obviously you
Oh, I
are the
didn't know
main
that.
character.
Yeah.
Oh, oh,
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's worked like a dream. So as I'm like, that's amazing. So like I've never had a guest on the podcast yet, and we've been waiting for the game to come out, and
Okay.
obviously try and get hold of the actors, and we've got hold of yourself. So we're so excited to talk to you about Swann, about Don't Nod Montreal, about Lost Records, everything. But before we start, as always, for the people watching, if you are new here, please do consider dropping subscribe on the channel, turn on the notification, like the video, share your friends. If you don't subscribe, Olivia's going to kick you into the abyss. She hasn't said that, but we established that. So please subscribe. It helps support a small channel as well. We are on podcast services. So the Lost Records Journal is available on podcast services on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. We have a 27 5-star ratings. We have over 100 followers on Spotify. So if you can rate us, it's great because obviously we have people like Olivia on and we can give you all the Lost Records content you want. So Olivia, I think the starting point would be as well, because I dropped some lines there as well, Gizo, meowdy. Which is your favorite out of the two?
Oh God. I think oh, mm. I loved recording both of them because they're just so funny.
Yeah.
Um, I think I'm gonna have to go with Meowdy, even though she says Jizo more than Meowdy. I think she says Meowdy once or something.
Yeah.
Um, but I thought Meowdy was so bizarre when I saw it. I was like, "Who says that?" And I loved it so much, whereas Jizo was, like, a little bit more believable to me. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Especially 90s in the Midwest. It's like Gizo. Uh
Yeah.
were there any other lines that were kind of catchphrases that were kind of taken out of the game?
No, I don't think so. Not that I
Okay.
know of. I can't speak for
Yeah.
the writers, but, like, everything kind of funny that we recorded, I'm pretty sure is there. Then
Oh,
again, I
nice.
haven't went th yeah, I I haven't went through the whole game,
Oh my
so I
god.
can't say for
Well,
sure.
I mean, technically you have because you voiced it and you were
Yes, but I don't know what they yeah, I just don't know, like, if they kept it. I don't know.
okay. Wow.
We saw your reaction to the squirrels. Don't worry about that. We saw that on the
Yes.
stream with Julian stream, who plays Nichols. And
Yeah. That was funny though because I in the moment forgot that I recorded the lines for that.
Mhm.
yeah,
So it's just funny to actually see, I was thinking about how like somebody had to animate that. Like it just made me laugh.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the best job or the worst job. That I don't know. It feels like someone's had like some experience with that. Um, But yeah, Olivia, thank you because obviously we're excited to talk to you. There's a lot to talk to you about, and obviously we've got a lot of time in our space to kind of get to you. But I think the best place to start with is you because I feel like we want to talk about you and who you are. I've done my own research and I always cheat with this as well. I know you have a big background in theatre and you've got
Yeah.
all kinds of different things working as an artist, working in film, TV. You got your own agency at the moment as well as a social media agency. But
Yeah.
for the people who are the uninitiated, how would they know Olivia? Who are you? What's your backstory?
Okay, wow. Where do I start? Um I grew up in Montreal and I kind of knew from when I was a kid. I can't even tell you what age. I just always knew that I wanted to be an actor. I think I watched
Mhm.
movies and TV and I would tell my parents, like, that's what I'm going to do. And I had never even been in a show yet. But when I was 9 years old, I think I was in fifth grade, they were putting on a musical. They were putting on Annie for the first time. And that was my first opportunity to actually act. And I just remember thinking, like, I was 9 and they announced that they were doing the musical. And I was like, this is, yeah, this is for me. This is my moment. Like, I already knew I was an actor, but I hadn't done anything yet. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Um, so I did that show, and that kind of just like the rush of feeling the audience, like when we were performing,
Mhm.
was just so addictive. And
Mhm.
and then I did like a bunch of community theater after, and I never got into sports. My parents were always trying to put me into some
Mm.
kind of sports thing, and I was like, no, I want to take singing lessons and do theater.
Yeah.
That's what I did, singing lessons in theater. So I started actually in musical theater, and then what did I do? Did all the shows in high school. And so the thing about Montreal is like if you don't have like anybody in your family that's kind of like in the business, I didn't know
Mhm,
where to start at all. So all I knew about was there's like two or three major schools that offer theater programs in
mhm,
college. So when I was in high school, I was like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go study theater, which obviously everybody told me not to do because it's
mhm.
not a responsible
Of
thing to
course.
do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not doing anything else in life. No, thank you.
Mhm.
So I went into that. I auditioned for the program. I got in, and it was a 3-year program. So usually, like in Quebec, it's a bit different. We have like a college program that's only 2 years, and then you
Mhm,
go to university. But I took kind of like a technical program, which was 3 years. So I did that,
mhm,
and afterwards, I wasn't sure if I wanted to. I was like contemplating going to film school because my whole life had just at that point been theater, but my
Mm.
mhm,
dream was always film and television. But I didn't know how to like get started in that. So I thought maybe I was going to go to school. But what happened was that when I was performing in my last show at the school that I went to, John Abbott, um, there was an agent in the audience, and the agent scouted me, I guess. And that's where I started. Like right after I graduated, I started auditioning for film and TV. And what else after that? I think from there, from auditioning, you kind of get introduced to the world of voice in Montreal, which is massive. Like the voice
mhm.
industry here is huge, and I think a lot of Montreal actors survive off of that.
Yeah.
And I sort of fell into it because I never thought I would be in video games or do voice work. I was like,
Yeah.
that's not for me. I also always associated video games with like guns
Yeah, sure.
and
Yes.
shooting games.
Yes.
I didn't know about Life is Strange and Don't Nod and what they do.
Which, in defense of Life is Strange, there is a gun involved in the first game,
Y- yes,
so you're
but
not far off.
like it wasn't a shooter game.
Yeah,
Like I
no.
don't know, not at all. So yeah, I didn't know that kind of stuff existed. I decided to take like what's great about the acting union that we have here in Canada called ACTRA. They offer a lot of workshops just to
Mm,
like better yourself. And one of the biggest workshops they offer here is the video game workshop. So they have the best in the biz, teaching actors like the ins and outs of video game work, and not just video game, but also dubbing. There's a lot of dubbing that we do over
Mhm,
here, um, and animation. So I auditioned, got in, and I've told this to, like, a lot of people that even taught me. I was like, "I didn't like it." Like, I didn't like the workshop. I was like, "This isn't for me."
mhm.
Again, there was a heavy focus on, like, military stuff. Like, I learned how to, like, hold a gun and stuff and do that,
oh,
and yeah, there was a big focus on that, which may have changed today. I took that workshop many years ago, so I
mm,
I don't know what it's like today, but, um, so I finished that and I was like, don't think this is for me." And then I just, kind of fell into voice work from there, and I started in dubbing, and then, um, I don't know how the video game thing I think auditioning, that's it.
yeah,
That's and then I fell into it, and then I found Don't Nod.
yes.
The most beautiful family. Yeah.
Mm,
That's basically the gist of my story. Yeah.
So there's 2 things that stand out to me, like 2 quotes, and I wanna get your thoughts on each of these quotes in terms of your journey into acting, right? Um, what is it? It takes 10,000 hours to become an overnight success. What was the one quote?
Uh,
Oh, no, it takes 10 years to become an overnight success.
yeah, yeah.
What do you think about that in terms of your journey?
Yes, and I'm not there yet.
Yes.
Like, I'm not yeah. Like, I've been professionally auditioning for 8 years now about,
Mm,
um, and, Don't Nod's the biggest thing so far for me,
mhm.
and there's still so much more I
yeah.
wanna do. So, yeah, I do feel that quote is accurate.
Because, like, a lot of times, like, this might be the first time we're hearing from Olivia in terms of Swann Holloway. "Oh, this actress came out of nowhere. There's no work involved. She just
Yeah.
appeared. But
Yeah.
there's that quote, it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. I'm hearing that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it, it's so funny to even accept like right now being like, "Oh, she came out of nowhere." I'm like, "Am I not still in nowhere? Like, do people know who I am? This is so weird." Like, I'm
Yeah.
still trying to process it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other
But I got
quote.
big dreams.
What is your big dream, if I can ask? Like, what is your goal in acting?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
To
It's
be on
so hard to
screen
like
with Taylor
voice this.
Swift.
Oh my. I think my biggest goal, honestly, is that like I want to make it so successful that I can meet Taylor Swift and
Mm,
be her friend. That's the
okay.
goal. Um, but the big dream is film and television, like to find some whatever success means within that. I really want to break into film and TV, which is
Mhm.
it's tough. I'm not gonna
Mm.
lie. Yeah.
So,
Can I follow on to that as well?
mm,
Because you just brought it up. Because even Adam can see my notes as well, and I even put in like the ACTRA union that you're part of, and even the video game workshops you've worked off.
Yeah.
But I just got a quote here as well, and I just want to read it to you. Said so. This quote says, "I don't think I'm ever going to like for me right now. I'm more focused on film and television just because that's what I wanted to do. But I don't think I'm ever going to fall out of love with theatre. That's always going to be my first love." And that was Olivia Lepore 4 years ago on the Thespian podcast, the Little Thespian podcast.
mm.
And that was you talking then.
We have the
I was like,
receipts, Olivia.
And I do my like
Wait,
extensive
can you
research.
re-say that whole thing to me? Because I think I blacked out. I was like, where is he getting this?
So the quote was, it says, "I don't think I'm ever gonna like for me right now, I'm more focused on film and television just because that's been what I wanted to do. But I don't think I'm ever gonna fall out of love with theatre. That's always gonna be my first love." And it
Got
was
it.
amid talking about, theatre doesn't pay as well as other things. But I wanted to ask you, obviously 4 years from now, you've got that credits of all the video game stuff you've done in terms of training, and then also the credit of the first role. And that wasn't even in the context here of doing film and TV. But I'm just curious, is theatre still the first love that you have?
Yeah. I yes. I mean, I can't ever say no to that. I mean, that's what got me here.
Hmm.
I also think that's kind of that training has helped me in video games. Like
Yeah.
there's no way. So I think yes, it's always going to be the number one love at this moment right now in my life.
Mm,
Is that my focus? No, it's still not my primary focus. If somebody was like, "Hey, I've got this great part for you that I want you to be in a show." Absolutely. Yes. I
mm.
love theater. But I don't know, I feel like I found so many other loves after
Mm.
theater. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You just grow and it's like with any art. It's like once you expand yourself and you find that one point,
Yeah.
oh wow, okay, because you've expanded your horizons.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um,
And I think what's sorry, I cut you off. Um,
oh, no, yeah, go
I
for it.
I think also my number one goal from when I was like 3, 4 years old was to be in film and TV. So, yes, theater's the number one love, but I think I finally got to the thing that I always wanted to do. Well,
Mm,
I'm almost there. We'll say I'm almost there.
Mhm.
yeah. The other quote that I have, and I want to get your take on it because you mentioned that when you went to theater, there's a lot of people that said, no, that's not a good idea. There's a quote that says, you're one win away from everybody telling you they've always believed in you. Saying that pretty much once you get that, like, wow, big role, then everybody's out
Yeah.
there like, oh, yeah, we've always believed in you. Do
Yeah.
you feel that? Or is that kind of like, no, not me, not my story?
Dr Yeah, like, I don't even know how to answer that. I mean, I kinda think of, like, with this game, like,
Mhm,
there's a lot of people in my life that I have a very supportive group around me, but, like, when people in your family, they love you, they want the best for you,
mm,
um, so, for me in my experience, I think my family always tried to pull me away from acting, not because they didn't believe in me, I think it's more like they don't believe in the industry. Like it's
yeah,
just such a tough
Mhm.
industry. Um, but then I can't speak for like random people around me that might one day be like, we
mm,
always believed in her. Like
yeah.
I don't know what they
I
think.
think of Facebook friends as that, you know? You have your inner circle, then there's the Facebook friends that just,
Yeah,
like, on the outside.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I could definitely it's funny because there have been people from my past that have reached out with the video game and been like, "Oh my god, wow, amazing. We always knew you were
Yep.
gonna do this because I acted in high school." Yeah. And so they saw me in high school and they're like, "We always knew this was gonna happen." I'm like, "But did
Yep.
you?" But
I
thank
didn't know
you.
the
Like,
training, you know? Not
yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
So you see that but it's a nice feeling. Like it's like, wow, thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's what
Yeah.
feeling of like with the game as well, reconnecting with people where it's like you might have unwarranted people who like know you from the past, and then you when you get older, it's like, oh well,
Yeah,
it feels
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
I have reconnected with people from like 10, 11 years ago that are like, "Wow, I didn't know you were in this game and I love gaming and wow, this is incredible." And I'm like,
yeah.
just
You were
thumbs up.
okay.
yeah, that's fun.
So Olivia, obviously, there's a big elephant in the room, and it's great to hear about your story and who you are as well. But people probably screaming, being like, "Swann Holloway here." It's like, let's talk about the lost record stuff, and we will as well. But before we start that, me and Adam always like to set the standard of like interviews, and we always have the actors come back because usually they find us really funny and we're entertaining. But we always set the high standard of interview questions. And I know that, for example, like Luke and Michelle and Kathy and Mary and all the Don't Nod team will be watching this. And I know Michelle's going to be like smashing everything on his table, being like, Olivia, stop establishing lore around my characters. But no, Michelle doesn't get an opportunity here. He's not going to smash it. He's the most quiet human being ever. But like,
He's the sweetest.
absolute
Yeah.
sweetheart. We love Michelle. But like, at this point, he's not allowed that because both you and I, well, actually, Adam as well, we all know secretly that Swann Holloway is a Swiftie. And we know that if the Eras tour went to Velvet Cove, they would all be there. Nora would be there. She'd probably get thrown out. Autumn would be in there. Kat would be there. And obviously Swan would be there. So to start with, what do you think is Swann Holloway's favorite Taylor Swift song and her favorite album?
This is the best question in the world.
Mhm.
Oh
Thank
my
you.
god. Oh my god. What is her favorite?
Whilst Olivia
I
thinks, listeners as well, just to let you know, Olivia's a big Taylor Swift fan.
Yeah.
And we might have like aimed some memes at her about
There
Taylor
are
Swift and
there is a
lost
wrong
records that she's
answer,
seen.
by the way. There is definitely a wrong answer to her favorite album.
There is?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm also a Swiftie, so
Oh,
uh,
you are?
of
Oh, that's
course.
fantastic.
It's like through my wife. Like when I met my wife, I was like, no, like I can't do Taylor Swift. And now it's like I go on the Eras tour. I don't care.
Did you go?
No, no, I'm too
Oh,
broke.
oh my god. Yeah, I saved for that. Okay, wait, to
Oh
answer
wow.
this question, I want to say, okay, second half of the game, she's in her Reputation era.
Okay, good. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
That's the second half of the game. The first half, I want to say maybe Folklore. Um,
Ooh.
because it's very woodsy and she
Yes.
loves nature and she's
Folklore or
folklore.
Evermore?
Folklore.
Yeah.
To me, Evermore is more wintry. So wow.
Yeah.
You know the album. That album. So yeah, folklore. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my favorite
What
album.
about
I
the
love
song?
Folklore.
Me too. Me too. Me
Yes.
too. I actually can't pick a favorite. I can't. I've thought about this extensively. I can't pick.
I tell you what, we'll talk to you if we have time later about the Eras tour that you went on yourself, and we'll also ask you this question again in case you do change your mind. But we did need to establish that lore about Taylor Swift around Swan Holloway, and Michelle can't change that. I know he's watching this. This is canon now, Michelle.
This is
But no,
canon. Yeah.
I feel like that was a good question to start with because obviously I feel like, how did you end up being involved in this game? How did you end up getting the role of Swan Holloway?
I love this story because it wasn't supposed to happen. Um, I sent in an audition, like a self tape,
Hmm.
so many years ago now, and it was for the role of Cat. Um, I don't know if I said this publicly before. Have I said
I
this?
don't think you have, actually.
Maybe like on a stream I did. Maybe anyway. So yeah, I auditioned for Cat, and she was yeah, described as having some kind of illness. We didn't know what. So there was a
Hmm.
scene where she's just like, she was described as the coolest. We know Kat now. She's just so cool. Um, and I thought I gave the coolest audition. Like I was like, this is it. I felt so good about it. And there was like this really emotional scene too that they had us read like this really emotional part where she's talking about the ranch. And yeah, I sent that in. I was like, I killed that.
Yeah.
And then, so what happened is that a few weeks later, I got an email from my agent saying, they want you for a callback, but not for Kat, for this other
Mhm.
character. It's funny to look back on it now because it was for Swann. They wanted me to go in for Swann. And I guess they looked at that tape for Kat and were like, you know what? She could be great as this really awkward person.
I was about to say,
And
you're saying that like, oh, I thought it was so cool. Like, she could be
yeah,
awkward instead. What
yeah, I think they looked, yeah.
Yeah.
Because what happened was that I found out later. So from one of the developers, Mary, who worked on the cinematics, she was the one who was going through the audition tapes, and the team asked her if she could put together kind of like edit together the different people auditioning as if they're speaking to each other.
Hmm.
And um she was going through all the auditions, and what happened is that they disregarded my Cat tape. They didn't want me in for Cat. They weren't going to ask me for a callback. And she went to them, the like Michelle, I guess, and Luc and everyone casting. She was like, I don't know, but maybe you should ask her in for Swann, because they hadn't really found someone that they were like, yes, this is Swann.
Mhm.
So I guess they looked at my tape and went, yeah, she could do awkward. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
interesting that you went from the most extroverted character to the
Yeah.
most introverted character after the audition.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's just a testament to Mary and the team being able to watch that tape that I gave in, and not to say, I don't want to shit on myself and say that was horrible tape. I
Yeah.
mean, they clearly saw something in there, but
Mhm.
it's a, they saw some kind of
Yeah.
awkwardness and some kind of
Mhm.
like something quirky, I guess, about my tape that spoke to them. So like, thank God for Mary, who wasn't, I don't think was part of casting. She was just tasked with editing the tapes.
Hmm.
So she kind of like, it wasn't going to happen if it weren't for her,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
My question to that is we know that Swann is more it's more attributed to how Michel feels about himself. Like he really connected with Swann. This is still like who I am as a person.
Yeah.
In taping and filming, did you feel like you connected a lot with Michel as a friend, as just a human being? Like are you two similar in any way?
That's such a great question, because even you saying that,
Mm,
I didn't know. He never told me. Nobody ever told me that it was kind of based off him. Like
mm.
I think I found out like a few days ago in an interview that you posted like a clip of an interview of his that said like, I connect with Swann the most because that's me. And I was like, "Oh, you know what? That makes a lot of sense." He's just like the quirkiest, quietest, cutest little dude.
Yeah.
To add on to that as well, Olivia, as well, because obviously Jean-Luc Hano, the writer, and Michel are very close together, and they create that character like Swann. But I'm just curious, have you ever like looked at Max Caulfield from Life is Strange, for example, because they both were the architects behind that character, and she's like eerily similar as Swann. If you haven't, obviously we understand because we always told listeners the actors don't play all the games and stuff. But I'm just curious if you ever seen Max and you kind of see any similarities with Swann, just even off appearances, maybe.
Okay, I'm so sorry to the fans listening, but is she the one with the camera?
She's the one with the camera. Yes.
I have watched. It's just that I don't remember the names really well, but I
Yeah.
I have watched, like, I think episode, I didn't play the game, but I watched it just to get an idea.
Mhm.
Episode 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely see similarities, but also from it was a long time that I watched this over. So I'm like,
Mm.
I'll ask you, do you find Swann like quirkier, like stranger, like what do you think?
Yeah, it's interesting with Max and Swann. I think I always see them as introverted characters with Michelle and Jean-Luc Hano's personalities, but you project yourself onto her, so
Mhm.
you are the third element of that character. So it's like even
Yeah.
with the way Swann walks, the way that Max walks, the way that Max speaks, and her personality. I feel like they've built a character which is a foundation of an introvert and
Mm.
has their own influences, but then they also give ultimate player agency, so you become Swann as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that probably maybe you felt that as well when you were doing the performance because it feels like, did you put your
Mm.
personality onto her in certain
Oh
respects?
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that is the best part of acting, is that when you get chosen for a role,
mm,
you hope that it's because they've seen your essence, who you are
yeah,
and what you bring to that role, right? Like my goal with every audition is just to bring a part of myself to it, even
mhm,
if the character is so far from who I am. I'm like, how would I be in that situation? So yeah, I mean, I was, so lucky because Swann is very much in many ways like me.
Yeah.
And to answer your previous question, yes,
Mm.
got along so well with Michel. Like
Really?
such a I'm such a big fan. Like I'm just such a big fan of his. And I think he's so wonderful. So yes. And I related so much to Swann, so it was just that much easier to play her. Like, and they saw that. They were able to pick up on that when I did the callback, and it was like the smoothest callback of my life. I pray that everything is like that moving forward.
Mm. Yeah.
It won't be.
Only dream. The actor's dream, that isn't it? It's like it's all perfect. It's like never ends up
Yeah.
being
It
that
was like
way.
so easy. I was like, why isn't everything like this?
Yeah. No, I was gonna say
Yeah,
it
thank
definitely
you.
shows that like you put yourself behind Swann. This is more natural.
Yeah.
Like you saw the similarities between Max and Swann,
Yeah.
and I think it's the difference between why are bands later albums sometimes why are bands later albums better than their previous albums is
Mhm.
because they learn how to interpret their sound, interpret what they want to portray rather than them getting better. They just learn how to make it more adjusted to like, hey, this is what we want to communicate.
Yeah,
And I see that with
exactly.
Swann, like they had something with Max, but they learned and they grew and they casted well so that they could
They
like,
are good at that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, they know how to cast
Yeah.
properly to know like, hey, this is what we're trying to interpret. So it just seems like Swann is a good like interpretation of what it means to be an introverted, awkward, like trying to come out of your
Yeah.
shell kind of person.
Absolutely. They
Mm.
nailed it.
Oh yeah,
They really
absolutely.
did.
Yes.
How was it meeting the other Don't Nod Montreal crew? Because like obviously usually people like unless you're like the niche that we are, me and like Adam know the developers and we always like, we always like Luke, hi, how are you? And he's busy with things. But obviously, like you have Luke, you have Juliet, you have Mary, you have Michelle, you have so many people that work at Don't Nod Montreal and even at Don't Nod. What was it like just meeting them as well and like the different kind of like the people you worked with? Because obviously like I think maybe like Mary had a bit more influence on motion capture when you were there and working on those kind of things. And
Yes.
as you said, doing the edits. So what was it like just meeting the different developers and then getting their vibes?
I have to say, so I met quite a few, but there's still a lot I haven't.
Mhm.
So there's still so many people I didn't even know worked on the game, unfortunately. It's just the way it is when when you're the actor bit in it.
Yeah.
Um, but it was amazing. The team that I did meet, the people that did come in the motion capture shoots, like best team I've ever worked with. I'm not gonna lie. Everybody is so kind, so welcoming, so professional. And I'm not just saying that. Like I've worked in a lot of different environments, and this was truly a blessing in many ways.
Mhm.
Like
Mm.
the I also was like constantly picking the minds of the developers and stuff, and um I wanted to listen to like everything they had to say because I think that like that side of things, the creation side of things. I mean, they're the creative geniuses. I'm
Mhm.
just
Mm.
here interpreting it. They're the masterminds, and I thought it was just so cool to learn every part of it.
Yeah. No, I've spoken to some developers like at networking events. My brain goes blank once they start about coding and
Oh
computer
God, yeah,
science. I was like, I'm just trying to keep up like with my dumb ADHD brain, like, uh-huh. Yes. C plus
yeah,
plus.
yeah.
I got
No,
you. Yeah.
no, I would if they got into that stuff, I'd be like, yeah,
In a
okay.
daze.
But I tried to ask as much as I could that kind of I could understand, and yeah, it was the whole process was incredible to see like a glimpse of behind the scenes.
Mm.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. And obviously behind the scenes we've got like great people. Like we had Marin, for example, who like reached out to give us and gave us codes. And we're a very small outlet, but he made sure that we got codes and it was like really appreciated. And he does a
Yeah.
lot of work stuff on the trailers and amazing stuff. So it's always we like to give credit back to the people that are there. And in itself as well, you talk about behind the scenes because I know one person you definitely worked with. So I'm gonna push the motion capture aside because obviously it's motion capture VO separately on this, but I know Philip Bache very well. Um
Yes.
I've spoken to about on my channel, I've spoken to about 30 actors who have worked with Philip Bark and obviously never
No
heard a bad
way.
thing. Yeah, so there's all the early stuff of Life is Strange was all Philip Bark. So it
Yeah,
was
that
like,
I know. Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, so I did all the interviews with like a lot of the actors and they spoke about it. And even Philip Bark has appeared on the channel sometimes with like a Gene Wilder YouTube and he puts like a winky face and most people don't know it's him. And it's like, I know it's Philip Bark and I'm like, hello, Philip, like, how are you doing? So maybe one day we have him on here. He's always welcome to come on here. But I want to know
He
what
is the
your
coolest. Sorry.
there we go. No, no, I think that's my plus. I wanted to know What was it like working under his direction? Because I know he has a very specific style and the way he does things and
Yes.
to bring out an actor's potential, but I wanted
Oh,
to know what your experience was like with him.
I hope he listens to at least this part because okay. So um it was so interesting. So in the beginning I was I was like, who is this guy? I'm like literally who are you? What have you done? I was because he comes in kind of guns a blazing. Like
Mhm.
he wants like he made it very clear like his background, what he's done, and how he
Yeah.
works. So at first it's like disarming in the sense that like maybe that's not the proper term, but I remember all four of us girls were sitting there meeting him for the first time, like, wow, this is gonna be different.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what to expect. We really did not know what to expect
Yeah.
because anyway, he's got a method. And so as I got to know him, and I remember our first VO session, it was tough because we had already been working on the game actually a year. I don't know if I'm like allowed to say this, but we had been working on the game for about a year before he came on because he was on so many other projects.
Mhm.
They weren't sure if they could get Phil. And so we were working with someone else who was also amazing. So then we switched gears. And every director has a different way of working, right?
Mhm.
So when we switched gears completely, it was kind of like, okay, we gotta like reframe everything and figure this out. My first session with him was tough, and he knows it was tough. Because he pushed me. He really pushed me because it was he works in a way that's quite different than a lot of voice directors, especially a lot of voice directors here in Montreal. It's a totally different method. And as we kept going with each session, and I had a lot of sessions in the booth, it was one of the coolest and most fun experiences of my life. And like in the beginning, I didn't know what was gonna happen. I was like, I'm either gonna hate
Mm.
this
Yeah.
or I'm gonna freaking love this.
Yeah.
Thank God I went towards love. I loved it. And we just really got to know each other. He's also just like the quirkiest, funniest dude. And
Yeah.
honestly, I laughed so much in our sessions to the point where like he'd have we'd have to like get serious. Like you've played part two. Um like we cannot fool around. Like we could not and there were moments where I wanted to laugh and he's like, Olivia, do not laugh. Like this is not the moment. Stay in the zone. And he really knew when to like what's the word I'm looking for? Just like be stricter, I guess, like with
Yeah.
certain parts and get me in the right headspace.
Mhm.
And then if I couldn't get in the right head, like what I loved so much about our dynamic was I was able to voice when I was frustrated
Mm.
Mhm.
or when I was like just not getting it, and I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like I'm frustrated right
Yeah.
now. But we had such a great dynamic that like I felt comfortable to say that. It's not like he was
Mhm.
taking it personally. He's like, "No, I want you to be frustrated. Like, let's be frustrated."
Yeah.
And it was the best. It was about like how often do you get to be like that? I guess comfortable with. I mean, you hope that every project you're working on that like you've got a great dynamic with your director.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it was like I guess I'm like having trouble articulating it just
Well,
because
if I can ask a question,
yeah.
maybe to help you articulate, uh, how was that experience different from other directors? Like, you say that you were kind of almost disarmed by this. Like, how do you
Mhm.
feel it was different versus like your normal encounters with directors?
Yeah. Okay. So he I don't wanna, like, give away his methods. I'm not gonna give away his methods,
Sure.
but,
Don't give away the
um,
playbook. Yeah.
yeah, I won't do that. But
I've heard about the methods.
you
I've heard
have?
about
Yeah.
I
yeah,
don't
there's
know if
different
the I
actors.
like
Maybe not specific ones, but I know how he works with actors and he gets them in a
yeah.
We
certain
heard
way.
that he throws pennies at all the actors until they get it right.
Is that a joke he said? Is that something he's actually
No,
said?
no, we're
Oh,
just
no, he
joking.
said it.
Okay, so yeah, he will, like oh god, this is so hard to articulate.
Yeah.
Uh, to get
Do you
you
know
in
what
the
as
right
well?
yeah,
If
sorry.
Philip Bache was here, he'd make you articulate this. I'm just gonna put that out there as a point. If he was on this call, he'd be like, Olivia, to the point, and it's like,
Get to
but
the
no.
I know. Oh my god, guys, I'm sorry. I'm gonna like make the most boring podcast ever. Um, no, oh man, he'll just like really push you. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
He will really push you, and he to like he'll watch you get angry and frustrated, and he won't stop until he gets
Yeah.
what he wants. And that could be a really amazing thing because
Mhm.
Mhm.
I think there's two ways of looking at it. It could be terrible or it could be amazing. for me anyway, I'll say it was amazing because
Mhm.
it pushed things.
Mm.
I did things I never thought I could in
Yeah.
my acting. It pushed me to a place that I really, really never thought I could get to. And I guess the difference with other directors is maybe I haven't felt that push necessarily before. I mean, I
Mhm.
did in theater. I will say that in theater, I
Yeah.
definitely felt pushed, but I also, it's hard for me to compare to other directors simply because this is the biggest role I've ever had. So
Mhm.
with my other projects, it was just lighter, maybe easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. I mean, I can tell from like just the light in your face. Like you say he pushes you, but again, it's kind of like it depends who it's coming from because the light in your face tells me like he pushed you because you knew he believed in you. But there's other directors
Yes.
that push you because they just want what they want and they don't
Yeah.
care how you're feeling. So
Exactly.
I get that, but you're definitely showing for those who are listening. She's not crying like he pushed me.
No, 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 no.
He's falling
No.
apart.
Yeah. No, but that's such a great point that you brought up. Like, I felt so safe
Mm,
to be like pushed in that sense.
Yeah.
Um, and I felt very, and he always checked in, every time we did a really, really hard scene. He was always checking in. He was like, we were, and we would check in with each other. Like, I would be like,
Mhm.
oh my God, I got really frustrated with you there. Like, we're good. Like there's
yeah.
no that
Yeah.
I needed that push. So it felt like a very safe environment. And there are environments where it's not. And you don't feel that way. And it does feel like somebody's just crapping on you the whole time. And it
Mhm.
feels horrible and you walk out feeling horrible.
Yeah.
That happens too. That was definitely not the case on this game. I walked out feeling incredibly proud every single time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, to give context as well, because like when Philip Barker's worked with actors, he does push them in different ways in a good way. And to give you context with Life is Strange 2, when he had Gonzalo Martin in, he even said if
Yeah.
you want to be a little bit, and to paraphrase him, he's like, if you want to be a little bit of a brat, go and sleep on the streets homeless like your character and see what it's like. And then
Yeah.
Gonzalo Martin actually went out and slept on the streets at night in one session, came back, and Gonzalo Martin is the only actor in that Life is Strange series to win a BAFTA, and he's the only one
I
to do it.
know.
And Philip Bark's VO performance was like the VO direction was there, so obviously for the Don't Nod team, they obviously want to work with him because he's
Mm,
exceptional for what he does for their games as well. And I
Yes.
know that I saw photos of Michel sitting in the booth. I imagine he might have been there for your booth sessions as well on his
Yes.
laptop doing lines.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly it.
mm,
And also, that story, I knew that was the first story he told me and the girls, the other women on the
Okay.
game. Like that he wanted us to know this is how I work. Like I went in the
Mhm.
booth and I told him, like, you're not hitting it. This is not it.
yeah.
Go on the
Yeah.
streets. And so that's where we were kind of like, we have to go on the street like what.
Yeah.
And, he hadn't seen us act yet, so we were
Yeah.
just like, what is he gonna make me do? But it was like, and then we get to know each other, and it's all it's all fun at the end of
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
day. It's so fun, and he cares so much. I think that's the big difference is he cares so much about what we're doing, and
Mhm.
that this kind of stuff is going to live on forever.
Yeah, and I speak very highly of Philip Box. I love him as well. And speaking of fun, let's move on to the motion capture because that's separate. And I know you did motion capture this with the other actors as well. Um, Walk us through like a day in the life of a motion capture day that you had with that, and then also were there any favorite moments or like standout memories that you had on the set of motion capture? We've seen some of the photos. There must have been like a lot of fun going on there.
Yeah. Oh, I loved mocap days. Um, okay, day in the life. I wake up very early, and head to the studio, and you get suited up right away. They put everything
Mhm.
on you, and uh, what's crazy about mocap days, and every company works different. This one
Yeah.
we covered a lot in one day. It was fast paced, which was exciting and stressful,
Mhm.
and but what was great is that we were all together, me and the other women, and it I'm trying to think of like a fun. I mean, I have my favorite day from mocap, which was actually my very last day,
Okay.
and it wasn't even like it wasn't even with the other girls actually, but it's not because I don't love them. I love them. It was the stunt day, like watching the
Okay.
stunt. people come in and do everything. And I thought that was the coolest thing in the world because I had never seen stunt people at work before.
Mm,
I've
Mhm.
seen actors, lots of actors.
yeah.
So watching the stunts and being able to be there, I was like, oh, I was such a fangirl that day. Big
Mhm.
fangirl energy. That was definitely my favorite day. Um, it's funny off the top of my head, like I'm sure there were so many funny like anecdotes I could tell you, and like
I
I
tell you what, let me give you one scene because me and Adam laughed a little bit about this. But Michel opened up about his favorite scene, and we were talking about this on the podcast. And Michel's favorite scene is in Fawn's Curse or Rest, depending which
yeah.
option you picked. And it's when the girls are dancing. And Adam's response was like, "Yes." He's like, "I knew that was Michel's favorite scene."
That is such a
And
Michel
obviously,
Koch coded scene. Like the in tape 2, during like the ethereal dance in the cabin. And I was like, yeah, that's a Michel Koch coded scene.
well, when
I
we go
didn't
to that
know.
scene,
Like,
Yeah.
did you do the
sorry?
dance in the mocap? Did you do the dance in the mocap for that?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that one up because that was strange. That was so weird and fun and brought me back to my theater school days.
Yeah.
And just having to like do really weird motions, and we had to shoot that like on our tippy toes,
Oh
like
wow.
on the tips of our feet. Yeah, because
Mm.
you're floating, right? But they didn't put us on like a rig to float in the air. That would have been cool, but
Mm.
no. So we were just like on the tips of our feet and just kind of it was funny. Every time they'd call cut, we were just like we would laugh. It was a
Yeah.
really strange thing to do. Um, but yeah, that was really fun.
Did they play any music for you in the background?
Yes, I think they did.
Mm.
Did they play? Yes. Oh my god, it would have been so weird without music. They
Yeah.
definitely played music. That helped. Yes.
Mhm.
There
Yeah.
was a
No, no.
few moments in the game that they had the music and they're like, this is gonna really help you with the energy.
Now,
Yeah.
did Michel Koch just throw pennies at all the girls and say, "Dance, dance now"?
No.
Okay.
I would have thrown those pennies back. No.
What is the penny
Michelle's a
called in
sweetheart.
Canada, though? I forget. I know you
Sorry?
have to. What is the penny called in Canada?
We don't even have a penny anymore.
Oh, that's right. I don't think we have pennies
Yeah.
anymore.
Do you
Yeah,
guys I feel
We
like
have
you
pennies.
don't?
you have
Ah,
pennies.
uh.
I think the executive order of no pennies, and we're all just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
pennies anymore. But
yeah.
that's I mean, that's what we called it, the cent, the penny? I don't
Because you have
know.
loons, you have
Yeah, the loony, the
loons.
toonie.
The toonie, yes. I was like,
Yeah, the loony, the toonie, yeah.
Canada's so weird.
Olivia, as well, on the motion capture, one thing I wanted to ask you was, did you have to walk in a specific way, Swan, or was it just natural? Because I know
Um,
Max walked in a certain way, and they very much did this with Serena when she was the motion capture actor. She had to like walk around for a little bit to get the walk right. I'm not sure if you did it with Swan, but I did see Swan walking very similar to Max, and I was just wondering if you actually had to walk in a specific way, or if they told you to do that.
okay, so no, I wouldn't say it was a specific way. All I did was embody who I thought she was
Mm,
Okay,
and this kind of like awkwardness to her.
yeah,
And it was the same kind of demeanor, the same walk that I walked in with when I did the callback.
mhm,
And I just kept it for the whole game. And it's a version of me. It's a version of the
mhm,
way I didn't think of it technically at all. I think it from an acting perspective of how would this character move in a
yeah,
space. Um, so it just all I had to do was click in with the character, and then it happened. It wasn't anything technical.
mm.
okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
and also on this as well, we'll kind of come back and forth on this as well because we talked about your Crohn's condition, your Crohn's battle that you've had as
yeah,
well. And I'm just curious because of the timeline of the game and when you're recording and doing the
yeah,
mocap. And obviously, Andrew Carter was pregnant during parts of this motion capture, which it still blows my mind when she was doing the VO stuff as well. Because like to
yeah,
be in that kind of position to do mocap and even VO is incredible. But I'm
yeah.
just curious, you will experience things differently that we'll never experience, and obviously, it might lead to maybe fatigue or something else that you're doing in mocap and you're exerting it. Were you transparent with the Don't Nod team about your condition, or were you not at that point when you wanted to tell anyone?
Definitely not in the beginning, no. So any project I go in, like that's not definitely not the first thing I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But as they get to know me, when they ask questions or whatever, it comes up. And it was never something that I felt like, oh, I need to tell the team. Like that's never an
Mhm.
Yeah.
issue unless like I'm in an active flare that day.
Mm.
Yeah.
But it it did come up eventually. What was nice is, I shot this for a very long time.
Mhm.
So obviously my health like goes through different waves, right? So there were days that I was more fatigued, and there were days that, the team saw that I was tired. And what was great was they were the best. They were like, "Is there
Mm,
anything we could do for you? If we
yes.
can make this easier, like if you need a break, please take a break." And yeah, that like that is,
That's
you're
a
not always
blessing.
going to get that on yeah, it's a blessing because you're not going to get
Yeah.
that on every project. And it's not that I hide my illness or at all, but like I'm not always gonna, it's just something I kind of learned to push through in a
Mhm.
sense. I mean, health comes first always, but I won't necessarily always bring it up. It
Yeah.
Yeah.
depends on the team. Yeah.
Because I was about to say, we're talking about acting and being in different roles, but you don't have to bring up a certain job, but like outside of acting work,
Yeah.
they're a little less accommodating, I'm gonna imagine.
Outside of acting work?
Yeah,
Like
like normal people jobs, like accounting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to say, right? Because here's an interesting story.
Mm.
When I was first diagnosed when I was 21,
Oh wow.
I had a different agent at the time.
Mhm.
And I told my agent, "Hey, I'm really sick. Like I need to take a pause. I had to deal with my health." And once I was getting back out there and auditioning again, my agent, he was a lovely person, but um had told me to never speak about my Crohn's disease, like
Mm.
online, anywhere, to never bring it up because it could hinder my chances of getting cast
Mhm.
because nobody like because I'm, I guess, unreliable in that sense.
Mhm.
And that really played with me mentally. It really, yeah, it was a sad thing to hear at that time in my life. Um, and I listened to him. I did not tell anyone. I didn't speak about it online for a very long time, and that was very isolating for me. Um, and I still, I guess, kind of believe the notion of like, oh, I shouldn't talk about this
Mhm.
because if I am cast in like film and TV or something, maybe, producers aren't going to want to hire me because I'm unreliable, which I I'm not unreliable, but you just never know what can happen with
Mhm.
Crohn's disease, right? You just
But they
don't know.
use that language, like, "Oh, they're unreliable." All because I don't know about Canada, but here in the United States, if you apply to a job and there's a disability list, Crohn's disease is part of the disability.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't I don't know
yeah.
if that exists here.
I don't know about Canada, but yeah, if you write down, "I have a disability," and you look through the list of an application, it will say Crohn's disease.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know this
Yeah.
before, but, like, hearing your story about Crohn's
Yeah.
and it did, like, pique an interest in, like, "Okay, what is this all about?" Now I'm applying to different jobs, and I see on the application, there it is. I'm like, "Whoa."
Wow.
I didn't yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, didn't
I'm
know.
not sure if that happens. I mean, I've never done a job application where I had to see that, but
Mm,
um definitely affects the everyday job. Absolutely. People aren't going to, but I think it's also like a lot of Crohn's people will hide it. Anybody
of
with a
course.
chronic illness is going to want to hide it to get a job, right?
Yeah.
And I've heard all the horror stories. Like I had actually had to leave one of my jobs because I was like a while ago because I was ill, and it happens. I was that unreliable employee that was like off
Mhm.
at least once a week because I was ill. And I had to get my stuff in order. So, but it does apply. I feel like it sort of applies to acting too, in a sense, right? Like it,
Mhm.
but I think it depends on who the producer is, who the director is, uh, whoever's running whatever day job it is, like whoever it is. I guess it depends on the person, the amount of maybe acceptance or empathy they have.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. I mean, I understand. Like, you want somebody who's going to show up,
Mhm.
but I mean, I do with acting
Yeah.
Could
to my own detriment sometimes.
could I bring this into because there's one scene, I don't know, obviously as you've not finished the game, but like there's one scene that you'll maybe remember, and in the game it's about Swann and she's talking about her mom, and she's bought her a scale, and it's like quite it's like, she feels quite differently about her body
Yeah.
positivity, and there's also other dialogue in there. I was wondering, did these scenes hit you a bit harder because of
Oh,
in terms of the context that you have your own condition and you have to
yeah.
come to peace with it? And was that something that maybe you felt like it took you a while to kind of process when you got home afterwards?
Oh, I mean, those scenes definitely any scene that had to do with her weight, anything like that really, really hit. Um, it's for so many
Mhm.
reasons, right? I mean, just being a woman in the industry too is just
Mm,
like is so difficult. I mean, it's hard. I myself, I'm not size 0, I'm average, and I think those scenes would actually resonate with like pretty much anyone.
yeah.
um it was hard in the sense I guess I could relate it back to the Crohn stuff.
Yeah.
Um, when I was very ill, I'm good now, but when I was very sick, you often get put on steroids. So I don't know if you've heard of
Mhm.
um it's I can't think of the name now, but one of these steroids makes you very puffy and turns your face very round, and
Mhm.
you can gain a significant amount of weight. And again, I had an agent when I was on those steroids who told me that I looked very different, that I had gained weight, and why was my face so round.
Mhm.
So I have had that experience.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, those scenes really made me so sad for Swann,
Mm.
but hopeful because she learns to accept herself and she grows up. And yeah, there's like no, I wish I had like a more positive twist on this, but I think it just makes me sad.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's a natural feeling to have with this situation. I think like that's why I wanted to bring in, because I feel like you're probably going through your own experience with this, and then even that kind of like messaging of what's happening with Swan. It happens quite a few times in the game about her like
Yeah.
body positivity and her image as well. And I thought maybe it was just something that you might have related to in terms of your own experience, in terms of on the Crohn side at least, where it's that you have a
Yeah.
condition and then you have to deal with basically shit from
Mhm.
other people, which is not
Yeah.
necessary. It's like you are your own person. Um, but and speaking of which, obviously, I think we'll maybe come back onto it because I do want to ask you one more thing about the Crowns. But for the moment, I'll move it back to Swan here because obviously,
Yeah.
I think in a rare occasion where you're playing two characters in terms of young Swan and adult Swan, and obviously the Michigan accent comes through as well on young Swan. I'm going to try and carefully lace this. You're obviously a very professionally trained actor. You have a lot of credits under you, workshops and stuff. Did you feel that maybe you had to really play Swan differently in the approach of a young Swan in terms of maybe even dumbing down your performance in terms of that you're playing a 16-year-old girl and you can't act like a young actress as you are, and that you had to make those like little things shine in certain ways?
Oh, no, I don't think I loved playing young Swan, and it didn't feel like I was dumbing anything down. It didn't feel like I had to revert to something. I actually found her quite challenging at times.
Mm.
Um, and it was so fun because I love a challenge. And uh, I also felt that her younger version got to tap into a side of me that I very rarely show people.
Mm.
Mhm.
And only my close family has seen and close friends.
Yeah.
This quirky, kind of like young sounding voice that I've always kind of reserved for family. And like it's a honestly, like I got to show this kind of more vulnerable side, which people may not like realize, like, oh, Swan's just like young and quirky. I'm like, yeah, but that's actually me deep in my core.
Yeah. Yeah.
so so I felt almost freer. I felt free.
Mhm.
Yeah, actually I've never thought about it that way before. I did feel freer in a sense playing young Swan because I
Mm.
got to just 110% be myself in some of those moments.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
No,
glad to hear that. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
please continue.
no, I was gonna say, like, I because I worked with some voice actors myself, you can definitely tell when an actor is comfortable, when an actor is more natural in their sense. And every time I
Yeah.
heard Swan, it just seemed natural. It just seemed like it seemed seamless, flawless. So it does make sense when you say like, okay, like not only is Swan my personality, but the voice work, it definitely portrayed as something that you were comfortable in.
Yeah. It sounds like I didn't act at all and I did nothing. No, I did act. I did.
Yeah. It's like Johnny
I
Benjamin playing Bob's Burgers. It's like, yeah, he just plays himself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't wanna like, I think that saying kind of bothers me a little, like, I don't wanna because 'cause
Yeah.
I'm like, we put a lot of work into this, right? Like, it's
Mm,
not that I'm just being myself, which, I mean, it is at the end of the day, like, I bring so much of me into it,
mhm.
um, but 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 yeah, she was still a challenge, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. What kind of challenges did you face with that?
Um, I guess sometimes, like, she is a bit more of an extreme version than me, so it's kind
Mm,
of like the awkwardness sometimes,
yeah.
maybe wasn't like, often, Phil would be like, "You're too casual. What is going on? You're so casual about this. Like, no, you're bringing too much of confident, 27-year-old
Mhm,
Olivia right now. This is not working. No.
Mm,
Go back to 16-year-old you." So there was that, like, I'd have to like pull myself back into that brain a little bit
mhm.
more and remember, oh, right, right. I'm not super confident yet. Um, so there was that challenge. And then what else? I mean,
Could I lace it in here as
yeah.
well to put in that? Was it a challenge doing her really deep introvert humor? So obviously during the Bloody Mary scene when she comes out and she's like, boo. And then also as well when she's like, do come in with the camera and it's like you see her do the was that a challenge as well, being really, really introverted with the humor? Because that's when Swann's humor is like my humor, where it's really dry
Yeah.
and she only gets it.
Yes. That was a bit not like that wasn't very Olivia. So yeah, remember certain moments where she does have those like that humor comes out
Mhm,
that I really had to get myself into a mental space where I had to believe
mhm.
everything that was coming out of my mouth. Like, she loves this creepy stuff or whatever when she was scaring people with the door boo. Like, she really had to. I think I had to do that several times. That boo thing in particular. Yeah.
It nails it. I love that scene. I think
Oh,
she's
thank you.
fantastic, and I
Thank you.
think she's a great experience being around young Swann. I did want to ask you as well. There's two of them, young and adult Swann. Who do you
Yes.
vibe with more? I know it's like choosing between your like favorite Taylor Swift song, this, but like you have to like pick one.
I mean, I have to say young. I think I spent most of the game is her younger.
Yeah.
Um and there's such a massive emotional arc there, so I
Mhm,
just gravitate to younger. Um and older Swan was a challenge because it was quite dark and
mm,
yeah.
they're reliving everything. So it was very sad. It was a dimmer kind of every time we'd record for older Swan, we'd change the lighting in the booth.
oh,
And it
wow.
would just go, yeah, yeah. Oh, like we really, I, by the end of my studio sessions, like
Yeah.
the sound engineer knew exactly like, okay, we're putting the lights to this level, we're putting the temperature at this. I had to change the video. I sounded like a total drama queen when I walked in, like a total diva. Like, okay, is everything set up for me? No, I didn't walk in like that. But they just knew like certain because it was Phil who influenced it. He'd be like, okay, we need to get her into a certain mood. Can we lower the lights a bit?
Mhm.
And then I'd be
Mhm,
like, wow, that really helped. So then I adopted that next session. I want the lights a little lower. Or I realized the TV screen that I had my lines on was so bright. I have such sensitive eyes. I'd be like, um, I'm a little blind. So
Yeah.
can we lower this? So then I'd come in and I'd lower it myself on the remote. And there was like little things like that made a difference to everything to just get you because everything's your imagination, right? Like
yeah.
Mhm.
you were in the booth alone. There's nobody there there's not the other actors. You're not working off of anybody. So we had to do what we could in that environment to just help me get in the zone.
Hmm.
Nice. No, I'm glad to hear
Yeah.
that. Um, Adult Swan as well. I don't know if you've played the game or seen all of it. She has a very cool tattoo. It's a very unusual
Yeah.
question. She has a
Yeah.
very cool tattoo, and I don't worry, I'm not going to break you down like what it is, but I believe you have maybe butterfly tattoos here on one of your arms.
Yeah, I do. I got some butterflies there. Does she have butterflies? I didn't even notice.
No,
Does she
she has
have
like a long it's
Branch.
like a yeah
Oh,
branch
it's
that
so
comes out and it's
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was just
Oh,
curious. Do you think? Oh, well, what do you think of the tattoo design? And then also as well, do you think that you might get a Lost Records inspired tattoo for the future to mark
oh
this?
my God. In this very moment, I've decided I will.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
thank you so much. I've been thinking about what my next one is problem solved.
Will it just be words saying meowdy on your arm?
Hell
Or
no.
Philip Bache throwing coins. It'll be one of the two.
Or just Phil. No. Oh my god, that's so great. Okay, first of all, the design on her, what they did for her tattoos, stunning. I think I'm gonna have to go look at that and be like, maybe I should get
Yeah.
something on there. Like, oh god, that is such a good idea. Thank you guys.
You're welcome.
I hope one day you come back for a future podcast and you come on dressed as Swann. You look exactly like Swann. It's like we've had our
Oh
impact.
really?
We've just like projected onto you. No,
Yeah.
like I hope you come back one day. Would love to have you
Oh,
back on,
and look at
obviously.
like
Yeah,
well,
you
you
look
know,
like Swann.
a lot of people have told me, oh my god, did they do her like face off of your and I was like, no, that character
Yeah.
design was like set before I came in. This is not
Wow.
me. And they're like, no, she looks, and I think it's partly people like projecting because I voice her, so they'll project
Yeah.
that. And yeah, actually, like there are some similarities there. So funny how that happened.
Yeah.
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 It's always the little things like that. But yeah, hopefully we'd love to see Lost Records tattoo if you do get one. And it'd be great to see that. And in itself as well, because I know one thing that she is very related to, and I just want your kind of interpretation on this. Life is Strange has been like a big thing with spirit animals, and Don't Nod has always done this as well with like Michel and stories. And I feel very strongly that obviously Swans is a moth because she always talks about moth. She has her moth girl toy as well. Like
Yeah.
the Moth Girl Chronicles is great. But I'm just interested what you think the moth represents for her because it's quite laced in the game. It appears constantly. It's like on lights and stuff. She always talks about moths. But why do you think like maybe there's like a moth relation like with her?
Oh no, that now this feels like a test. I oh I I feel like maybe this is the part of my job that I didn't do. I didn't think about that moth.
Oh wow. Wow.
Did I fail? Did I fail as an actor?
That's not for me to decide. It's up for Phil to decide,
Oh my god. That's a great question. Oh my god, can you ask the writers?
Sure. Absolutely.
I mean, I could definitely like think about like the ways in which she probably sees herself in a moth, the way it kind of like flitters around and just like maybe people don't necessarily want it there. A moth
Wow.
gets in their house and they're like, get out. And maybe Swan like sees herself that way a little bit.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
she also sees such beauty in a moth. She sees immense beauty in it. That's as far as I'm gonna go with that because that's a question that I would like to see in advance
Yeah, I
and
respect that.
and think on. And now
Yeah.
I'm under pressure and I can't.
No, it's fair. I've got like different feelings and like why it is the way it is, and it's
Can you
just
tell me your interpretation?
so like depends on the characters. Like the previous characters, like Max is a doe, and like Chloe's is a butterfly. It's like they've always laced a character with like a spirit animal usually, and like
Yeah.
for me as well with this, and I've only played through it like once. I'm still playing through it again. I think like moths aren't necessarily bad things, and they represent different ways. So I always get like the Silence of the Lambs feelings with this with the moths, where it's like you
Oh
can
yeah.
make it a cocoon and it can still be a beautiful creature. Like even if it's like the death head's moth, it can still be seen as like a gorgeous creature because they can become quite like maybe they're nocturnal and they last only for a certain time. So I feel like
Yeah.
maybe that's her kind of story where it's like it lasts for a certain time and she does have beauty, but it depends on how you see beauty. So it's not butterfly, but it's a moth. But moths are still quite beautiful creatures.
Yes.
So that's my kind of like thinking. Because obviously some of the other characters have other spirits, animals, and I'm a bit like
Yeah.
still trying to work them out.
So can we pretend I said all that?
Yeah, we can
Yes,
edit
we
that
have.
And
in.
just
Just like
yeah.
let
I'm
your mouth
just
move and whatever Adnan
yeah.
said, we'll just put it on top.
Yeah.
I think we should honestly just cut this whole part. No. No, but the fans are gonna be like, how did she not think about this? It's just gonna make me look terrible.
No, you'll be
No,
fine.
no.
No, the fans have always loved the actors, and I've always said to them before, I'm like, do not worry. They know this is not. They know you're not a gamer. Like usually, 9 times out of 10,
Yeah.
most of the actors have never played the games. But no, I mean, like maybe later down the line, obviously, maybe you might feel differently about the moss. But I kind of just threw that as a left curve.
Oh, I
But
loved it. I think it was yeah, I agree.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
the most Swan response I can get as well from you as well. So thank you for that. What would be
Yeah.
your spirit animal?
Oh,
I have a funny feeling I might know what it might be, but
wait, you have to tell me because I know
I
what
was
I'm gonna say.
a rabbit.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Wow.
that's because you've done your work.
Yeah.
You have done your
Can we
work.
interview the rabbit next? We'd love to have Pebbles on
Oh,
here.
Pebbles, she'd be shaking like a leaf. Yeah, so for anybody that doesn't know, I have 2 bunnies who are on Swann's one of her shirts. Did you guys notice
Oh,
that?
no, that was the oh wow, really? Oh,
Yeah, so they one of Swann's outfits, her t-shirt is 2 bunny rabbits and
Yeah.
it says M and P.
oh, I
Those
love
Oh.
that.
marbles and pebbles, those are my 2 bunnies in the
See,
game.
you've redeemed yourself from the moth question. I think that's just the perfect like bounce back. We
Yeah.
love it. We love seeing
Thank
that.
you. Thank you so much. I'm like, here's some tea. Yes, so I was so obsessed and I was always talking about my bunnies when I was shooting that one day, I think it was Michel or I want to say it was Michel. He came
Mm.
up to me and he was like, "You have an Instagram for your rabbits, right?" I was like, "Yes, I do." And I sent him, he was like, "I want to give the designers your bunny rabbits. We're going to design something off of your bunnies."
That's crazy.
I think that was like the greatest day of my life.
Yeah.
Um and I sent him all these my little Instagram posts and I'm like, "This is Pebbles, this is Marbles." And and then to see them on a shirt in this video game,
Oh,
like I can't describe, you could see my face right now, like I'm gonna explode from joy. Like it is the best thing in the world. Like I can't believe they did that.
yeah.
It
That's a good
was
Easter egg to find in there. So like now that everybody knows, like if you put it on that shirt,
Yeah.
it's actual rabbits.
they look like that. They designed based off of them and
Wow.
they're gonna live on forever in this game. It makes me so happy.
Oh wow.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that they've done that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So
So,
I just want to lay on some more pressure onto Olivia real quick.
Oh God.
oh,
Oh
here you
God.
go.
Oh no.
I want to talk about I want to see what your thoughts on for Canada's greatest gift to America and possibly the entire world, minus Italy. Italy doesn't like this gift. Okay.
That's interesting. I'm Italian. What is it?
I'm a big fan of pineapple on pizza. Canada's
Oh,
greatest gift to America. What do you think about Hawaiian pizza?
oh, this is gonna make some people upset. I love it. Love it.
Let's
Oh, you're
go.
like, no, Adnan's like, no, 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 no.
No, I'm absolutely no. So this is off our last podcast that we did, and he was like he was like running his mouth saying these people are doing hot takes, and then he drops the pineapple thing. I'm like, that is a hot take. I'm like,
No.
It is
pineapple's not
it
on the.
is.
Yeah.
It is. I'm obsessed with it. You're right. Italy would act like my
He's crying.
ancestors. They're crying. They're rolling over.
Oh no!
Pineapple on pizza. Because everybody
I
hates it.
can't
I
Everybody
imagine.
hates it for no reason. It's just like
I
it's so
don't
good.
know. I think the sweet with the sweet and salty. That's like
Mhm.
my favorite combination ever. It's fantastic. And now you know what? I think I'm gonna have pizza tonight.
Let's go. Putting pineapple on it or just like straight up?
Oh, I'm gonna pineapple. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. I'm
You know
gonna
what
get
I
that
do?
pineapple ham pizza.
Pineapple jalapeno pizza.
Oh, I can't do spice. Crohn's
Oh,
disease.
yeah.
Inconsiderate,
Pineapple
Adam.
jalapeno
Inconsiderate.
without the seeds. Can you just take the seeds off the jalapenos before you put it on the pizza?
Oh, and then is it no longer spicy?
No, there's still
Like,
seeds on it. I like
it,
it.
like you know the
Hot
Hot
one,
Ones
John.
interview? Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
Hot Ones. So I imagine myself, when I'm one day big and famous, and they're asking me to go on the show, and I'd be like, I can't even take the first. I wouldn't be able to even eat the first one.
Yeah,
It is so sad. Actually, I have a funny anecdote if you'd like to hear about this.
absolutely.
Of course.
Yes.
And I think this is the funniest thing that happened in the entire game. I made myself like one of those like instant soups
Yeah.
right before heading to a VO session. And I don't know why I thought it would be a good idea to add like there was like this chili powder. It was like a faux soup,
Uh,
and I put chili powder in it. I took one bite of that soup and died. I
oh.
coughed for okay. It was you should ask Phil and like the whole team about this. That was it had been like an hour. I got to the studio. It was an hour later. I was still coughing like an insane amount. I destroyed my vocal cords.
Mm.
It was awful, and I coughed throughout most of the session. And the stuff that we were filming was the really heavy like part tape 2 stuff.
Yeah.
And I it was horrible. Like I had 2 back-to-back VOs. Uh, like it was like a Monday and then a Tuesday, and I went in on the Tuesday, like the day after I did the
Mhm.
VO session. My throat was destroyed. It was awful. I knew that I was coming in that day to do more screaming and yelling. And I told them, guys, that soup, that one bite of soup destroyed me so bad. And then on top of the session yesterday, like, we're gonna have to move to something else. I can't
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't do the yelling. All from a tiny little bit of spice.
That's see, I've known people because I lived in North Dakota for 4 years, and I've known a lot of people just like that. They just can't do it.
Yeah.
Versus me, I have at least 4 hot sauces available to me at all times. El Yucateca, if anybody likes spice, El Yucateca, best hot sauce ever of all time.
No,
But
I would actually you'd have to call the ambulance. Like I was
you
one
would
I
you would
was
die
another
with El
spoonful away
Oh,
from the ambulance. Yeah.
Oh man. No, yeah, there's a lot to do with it. Is that like a Canadian thing? Do Canadians
No.
Yeah, really.
Um That's just a me thing. No, Canadians. I mean, like us Canadians, we're like a mix of so many different cultures, so many different backgrounds.
Yeah.
So especially Montreal is uh one of the best places in the world for food. It
Mm.
is, if not the best, because we have everything.
mhm.
And no, all my friends, everybody loves spice. I am just
You're just the lone
special.
wolf. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Ah,
just a lone wolf.
ah.
That's so Swann that as well, that response.
Yeah, well, it's coming out. It's like the more we talk, she's coming out. I think I
It
came
really
in and
is.
I was like, I'm gonna be
The
so
coolest podcast
cool.
guest.
That's the yeah. That's
You
my
came in as
problem.
Cat,
That's
and you're back to
yeah,
Swan.
yeah,
Nope, Swann
exactly.
is cool. Can we establish that Swann is cool? Why are we not saying that she's not cool?
Oh.
Thank you. She is. She
The
is.
introvert's
But you're
always
right.
cool.
Thank you. You're right that I came in like Cat, as if I am Cat, and now my true colors are showing. It's like there's been an arc to this podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because speaking of arc, I'm just going to bring it into Lost Records
Mm.
and onto that as well. The Abyss. What do you
Yes.
make of that? What do you think of it? Like, I imagine they've only told you certain parts because you played, we've done that part of the story, but what do you think of it? What do you think it actually is?
See, I'm not sure what I can say about that simply because I know
Ooh.
that there, are some cliffhangers, and I've read some people's reviews. I don't think everybody's like too thrilled with the cliffhanger or cliffhangers.
Mm.
What do you make of that then? With people saying that, do you think it's unfair or fair, or do you think
Mm,
like we'd
no,
already
I think
established that this was going to be more?
I mean it's fair for everybody to have, they're gonna have strong feelings. I think at first when you read anything that's a bit negative, it's like, no, I worked so hard on this and the team worked so why? Why don't you love it? But I don't think it's anybody saying, "Oh, I hate it." It's or maybe they are, I don't know. But
Very small select Redditors that do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and you're gonna get that with something that's powerful.
Mhm.
Anything that because they attached so strongly, like everybody was so into tape 1, right?
Mhm,
And when you have something so powerful and strong and that has such a beautiful story like this, people are going to have different interpretations. People are going to have different feelings about it. And at first, it's hard to read. And then I realized, wait, no, that means we made an impact.
Yeah.
That's how I interpret it. Like we made an impact. The game made an impact. It made you feel something.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
I don't, yeah. I don't think they walked away going, I was bored. Or maybe some people were bored, but I think the majority, I don't think necessarily were bored. They want more answers,
Mhm.
which I think, another game could provide.
Mm. We'll just leave it on that one, yeah, before you get into trouble.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's
And what
I was gonna say,
go
like,
ahead. Yeah.
you are exactly right that, like, the whole meaning behind art is that it needs to invoke something. I say this
Yeah.
every time, Gilmore Girls. It makes me so angry sometimes. Amy Sherman
Me
Palladino,
too.
bro, like, every
Me
time
too.
every time, like, Rory or, Lorelai have a problem, I'm just like especially okay, so the episode where Lorelai needs a bank loan, to fix up her house because the deck is
Yeah.
collapsing. So like she has 3 different options, and she's like, no to all of those. I can do this. Every time I'm like, Amy Sherman Palladino, who's the creator, writer,
Yeah. Yep.
director, I'm like, Amy, come on. Why are we doing this? Why are we here? But that's the thing. I might get pissed about Amy Sherman Palladino, but when she left the show, it became so boring.
Yep.
So like
It was different. It was
it was
not the same.
mayonnaise of a show. It really
Yeah.
was. So like if it doesn't invoke emotion, then it's not art, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that's what Michelle does so beautifully, and all the creators behind the game. God, they know how to make you feel, and people
Mhm.
got so attached to these characters, and I think that's a win. That's
Yeah.
success right there. Like, I think you did what you set out to do.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
I
great
like
way of
that.
putting it.
Do you
Yeah.
do you think it's sequel baiting this, or do you think it's fair logically? Do you think the story ends where you feel
Do
like
you know
you'd be
what it means
satisfied
to
walking away
sequel
from
bait?
it?
Like, what kind of term is that?
Well, I sort of get it. It's like saying I like it's like saying give us a sequel. Like, yeah, I think they are. Is that bad? Is that bad to say? I mean,
I don't know. I've heard this thing of just like sequel baiting. People are like, "Oh, it's sequel bait." The hell does that mean? What are you talking about?
okay, well, if it's a bad thing, they're not doing that.
Yeah.
It was intentional.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So I think the ending on its own, it stands alone. I think it does.
Yeah.
And it's up to interpretation. Is it open to more?
Hmm?
I think so. I
Oh.
think yes.
Yeah.
That's my feeling. Do I want to keep working? Yes.
That's right, dude. Okay, so when they keep saying sequel baiting, I'm just like, yeah, the whole point of making a game or any
Yes.
IP is so like, hey, can we keep working?
Yes.
Can we get another job here? So
Yes,
it blows
absolutely.
my mind when people are saying
Well,
like
but
it's
that's
sequel bait.
it's like any franchise, any film franchise,
Yes.
anything. Like it's almost like a TV show too. Like, don't you want it to
Yeah.
Mhm.
if you love it, if it's a great story, don't you want it to continue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We could do that for you.
Yeah. Anything success. I'm sure Michael B. Jordan is like rooting for the success of Ryan Coogler because he keeps getting work with Ryan Coogler.
Exactly.
So like
Exactly.
of course, when Ryan Coogler's writing out Sinners, Michael B. Jordan's like, "Thank God I got work again." Good.
I mean, I think he'd always have work, to be honest. But yes, when
True.
you find, I think, he found like his partner, and
Yes.
and when you
Mhm.
find creatives that you love working with, yeah, you'll do anything to work with them again. And that's how I
Yeah.
feel about Don't
Mhm.
Nod. Is like, I absolutely 110%. You want me on another game? I'll be there if they want
Yes.
me. Yeah.
To add on to this conversation, Olivia, as well, I'm just interested because, like, I've seen the narrative where people are saying there's bad endings. I.e., bad ending is where Swan's on her
Yeah.
own and she goes into the forest. Adam had that ending and he loved it. For me as
Yeah.
well, I
Oh,
think
okay.
I think it represents Swann as an introvert. Like, she is forever an
Yeah.
introvert and she's on her own. She starts the game on her own. She ends on her own. I'm just curious. I'm not going to ask you if you think it's a bad ending, but I think, like, as your perspective as Swann, what do you think of that ending? Because people, quote unquote, consider it the bad ending. But from your perspective, playing Swann as the young and adult version, do you think it's fitting for her arc, even if she is on her own after 27 years?
It is fitting. I mean, I'm not gonna say too much about, every ending is beautiful, so I don't want to like
Mhm.
pick, everybody has their favorite ending, right?
Yeah.
But I think that one still stands. Like it does make sense for her. And I think with either ending, she's found like peace and contentment.
Mm.
Yeah.
To a certain, like, unless you look at the end credit scene. But
Yes.
did you saw that, right? Right?
Of
Oh
course.
yes, we saw
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
You look shocked, so I was like, "Wait a minute, did I say something?"
No, some people
I
missed
mean,
it. Some people missed
really?
that.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
make sense. That would make sense because if you don't know, it's yeah. Um, but I think for the most part, she has found peace and contentment in
Mhm.
herself. She's found confidence in herself. She accepts who she is. Um, so I think every one of the yeah, I'm not going to touch those endings.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. I'm gonna like obviously move away from like the abyss in terms of like Luke will probably message us being like, stop telling her like getting us to spill her guts about everything. But like, and what would the abyss as well? I'm just curious, what would you throw in there if you had the chance?
Oh,
So Swan can usually throw a flower or a hair depending on player choice, but I'm just curious, what would
yeah.
you throw in there if you had the chance?
Would you
You could
throw
throw your
poops on
Hawaiian pizza in there,
your
pineapple
Yeah.
slices, like
Wouldn't you love that? No. No. Oh God, that's such a great question.
pebbles.
No.
No.
Forever
No.
alive.
Maybe her fur. Like, just like her.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a great thank you for, like,
That'd be
triggering
yeah,
that in my
interesting.
brain. Yeah, no, her fur.
yeah.
But it would have to be also marbles. I can't leave them out. It would be both of their little, like, their fur together and, like, a nice little bow, and then I whew.
You're cutting off enough fur that you can tie them both into a
Yeah,
bow.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
That's fair. That's
I think
fair.
it's a reasonable thing.
Yeah. Of course. Why not?
Or I'd have to say I was thinking of a different one. Um, in the context of the game and, Kat having cancer, which was
Mhm.
actually a storyline that really hit home for me. Um,
Hmm.
Probably, like, I'd have to throw, like, if I was to throw something in, it would be of my, like, a little piece of something that I have from my best friend Megan, who passed away when I was 9.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think that kind of, like, for me, that was a big, like, through line in the game. That was something that I really connected with and really hit home. So probably something of Megan's.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, pebbles and
Yeah.
marbles can go to the side. You're not allowed. You're not in this conversation. I think
Sorry,
this is
Pebs
better.
and Marbs. Yeah.
No, I like that, and I think maybe I'm going to move it a little bit away from that as well. And I've done this question a bit cleverly because I know you're not going to answer it straight, but the Sapphic community will be watching this and they'll be furious if I don't answer this because she can like go in different directions her relationships. And I'm not going to say who you want to ship her because there's no chance you're going to pick one of the girls. I know that's already definitive, but I'm going to put it back into the scene of Michelle's favorite scene, which is the
Okay.
dance. Are you
Yes.
dancing on your own or are you dancing with one of the girls?
Oh, I'm dancing with one of the girls.
Oh yeah.
Which girl?
No.
No.
You're not
Come
telling.
on.
On.
Oh,
I can't tell you who. I'm just like I well, see, working with them, it's like I love all of them.
Yeah, we love all the actors. We love Andrew Carr, we love Natalie, we love Amelia. They're all great. But I'm just saying, not the actors, but the
I
characters. Which
know.
one? Just Swann. If you are dancing high on whatever it is, witchcraft is in that scene. Like, what is? Where are you
No,
going?
I can't answer
uh,
this. No, I can't. No, I'm gonna piss off someone. I'm not doing that. I love the fans. Like, we're not we're not messing with that.
If there's a
Everybody has their
Freudian slip
favorite.
moment on another podcast, I'm going to be furious, and so is Adam as well. I'm just going to put that out there. There will be messages sent. It'll be like, "Where that was like reveal, isn't it?" But okay, we'll move away from that. The Sapphic community can wait and find out in some way, shape, or form. Um, so with this project as well, I'm curious because obviously there's a big focus in the 1990s, and there's that big time jump that we have 27
mhm.
years. I'm wondering if your perception of nostalgia changed, but then also as well with this, did this game make you feel like you wanted to reach out to someone, or you wish you had a communication with someone from like the last X amount of years, like that you felt like, oh, I wish I had that moment where I was meeting in a bar with someone that I've not contacted for a long time? Because even Michelle
Yeah.
said that's where the game is built around, where it's more about the fact that these girls are reuniting.
Yeah. Um, Definitely. Like, I've definitely had moments where, oh, yeah, there's people in my past that I think actually even throughout the shooting of this game, there was somebody that I hadn't spoken to in like 10 years that I did reach out to,
Mhm.
actually. So I don't know if the game was a direct influence of that. Maybe. Um, but yeah, I mean, if there's I encourage anyone who's like, if there's something in your past that feels like unresolved or that you would love to, or you just like fell out of friendship with someone, go reach out. Now's the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did anything from the
Absolutely.
1990s hit you in there? Because there was some things where I was like, like Michelle, stop making me feel old here. Like, was there any like certain things like dialogue moments
Oh,
you recorded where you thought, oh, actually, even if it was the camcorder, for example, where it was like, oh, like I feel old now looking at this.
definitely like VHS tapes, like anything tapes.
Yeah.
That like made me laugh a lot. I definitely remember those. What else? There was a few other. Oh my god, there's so many little things in her room that you could explore
Mm.
that really
Mm.
brought me back. And now, like, oh, I played it like I was
What
streaming
about
with Julie.
the
And
Magic Eye book?
wait, what was that again?
The Magic Eye where there's an image and you have to like cross your eyes to like.
Oh yeah, I can't do that.
I
Like,
can't.
I literally can't. I can't
Yeah.
do that. I couldn't see. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't see anything.
Here's a
Yeah, no, I can't
here's
do
a fun
that.
fact. Like I couldn't do those because I'm actually scared of going cross-eyed. So like
Oh,
that's a legitimate fear. So like when
is
I
that
got
a fear
tackled,
you
yeah, I got tackled in football, And like the first thing I
Oh,
did, not if my bones are broken, like how are my eyes? Are my eyes straight? Like straight up, like an
that's an interesting fear.
story behind that, because I grew up in Philly. I saw fights. A guy knocked a dude right in the temple so hard he went cross-eyed. So
Oh my God.
I've seen it happen. I'm like, oh, I don't want that to happen to me. So it's just like from
Okay.
then, yeah.
Yeah, that's a very formative memory.
Philadelphia, man, it strikes fears in everybody. There's a whole diversity of fears in Philadelphia.
Oh man, I wish see all these places that you're mentioning to me are like things from TV and film. I grew up on watching American things and like yes, I've been to the States and I've been to different places, but obviously not everywhere.
Yeah,
So
Mhm.
for me, it's like very I've only seen all of these places on a screen. So
yeah. I will say this: have you ever seen Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
I've seen clips. I've seen clips, yeah.
I will say that is the most accurate depiction of Philadelphia that's ever been on screen or film anything. Like that is the most accurate
Okay.
of what Philadelphia is like. Yes.
Fantastic. I just
I guess it depends who you're asking. Yeah.
I was going to add to you as well on this as well, and might make you feel nostalgic. Me and Adam always bring this up. There's a video of young Taylor Swift fans, and they get a CD, and the kids don't know how to pull the disc out. If that
Yes.
wants to make you feel old, because it's got that
Oh
little hole in the
God.
middle, and they don't know how to get
Yeah,
it
I've
out.
seen this. I've seen this. Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, definitely makes me feel old. I still buy CDs. Like
Yeah.
I want the physical copy. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah. I know. I know. It's just like for nostalgia, everything in this game was hitting me. I was like, oh, there's a sewing tub, and it's like, yeah, there's going to be like, sorry, biscuit tub, and it's like, it's going to have sewing stuff in it because that's what my mum would do. It's like it's
Mm,
always something in this game. I was like, oh god, it's hitting me hard. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff happening in this game. With yourself as well, and I'm going to talk you to that ending, and I'm going to be very careful because I don't want you to get in trouble with this as well because I know this is
Mhm.
thingy. What can you leave as a teasing message for us? Even if it's cryptic or teasing or anything, I'm gonna leave it to you to give something. You don't have to explain certain parts because I feel like there's even Michelle has teased stuff on Twitter saying you guys need to like go and look at this and look at that. But in a teasing way, if there's something that you could hint at the future, or even if it was just like your interpretation of it.
This is a tough one. Oh, you're asking so many tough questions. Um,
She's
it,
probably
hmm.
regretting it now, thinking like I should never have responded to that message saying I should come on the podcast.
I should have never came on here. No. I guess the the tease is kind of related to that end credit scene. So if you miss the end credit scene, go watch it.
Yeah.
Um, I think I'd say what's gone is never really gone.
Okay.
mm.
That's all I'm gonna say on that. Because I am not the creator or writer of this
Yes.
game. So
That's
that's
fair.
my interpretation.
we 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 kind of have feelings that like obviously like Lucas already said this is greenlit for like a series, and Michelle's been quite cryptic with things. I think you did an interview with the BBC where you said like expect the
Wait, what did you
unexpected.
say
So,
about being greenlit for a
oh,
series?
so I think like Michelle has sorry Lucas said in like an Xbox Wire post where he was like this is a series that we're going to be
Like a
doing
friend.
for Lost
Oh,
Records.
okay, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
that's the hope. To be honest, I haven't really thought beyond that end credit scene and what that means.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sort of waiting on like what what's gonna happen. Like are we
Yeah.
gonna do another game? That would be amazing. Depends. It's all dependent on the fans, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
I like how you put that. It's just like again with the whole sequel baiting thing. It's like of course we're trying to get people to want to know more about the game, be more interested, so that we can work
yeah,
more and tell more stories. It's what do you mean
yeah.
sequel baits? I don't know.
I mean, we just hope that like we we didn't like turn people off from going to the sequel. Like if they're so mad they don't want a sequel, but I'm like, don't you want the answers? Don't
Yeah.
you want to know? We could give you them.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's just I don't know. I don't think people understand like what it takes to like make a successful franchise, make a successful
Yeah.
game to go into a sequel. That like it's sometimes you just have to sequel bait. I guess I don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, but isn't that what every TV show does?
Yes.
Apparently
And
not.
movies do it too. Like
Yes.
movies do it as well. And it's like, I mean, look at Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
Talk
gimmicky
about sequel
catchphrase.
baiting.
Yeah.
It's a gimmicky
Honestly.
Yeah.
catchphrase, People are doing it with like
Yeah.
when they say like they want tape 3, and it's like there's 2 tapes. Wait for the game, the next one, or like whatever the creator has in mind. That's what's going to happen next. Because it's a concentrated story with certain elements, and it's setting up certain things. And that's what Michel's games have always been like. I said to Adam as well, like
Yeah.
Michel's games have always been quite polarizing in different senses. That it's like he's very David Lynch-esque, and it's like you have all these kind of elements with the way he tells a story, and there's always mystique, and it always seems to have a connection point to the next point. And he's always made a game
Mhm.
where someone says it's a 6 out of 10 or it's a 10 out of 10. Like you have a very different opinion of it,
It's
which
true.
is a sign of a great author, because not everyone thinks that everything that Stanley Kubrick has made is amazing, but like he has had like the big high points. So I think it's exciting to see it, and obviously I don't want to trap you in the corners of like this game and all the other things. So I think we got a couple of questions towards the end, and obviously I've got like a little surprise for quick fire ones for you as well. But I did,
Okay.
as I said, I wanted to bring the Crohn's battle that you've had back, because I just kind of wanted to get your mindset, because like as we talked about in terms of the acting and how people have perceived that and giving you like an outsider's perspective, and then how you've dealt with it on set as well. Obviously when you get this role, the notoriety comes with obviously being an actor, and people, fame building and all that other stuff, and then you start posting whilst that's happening as well. So like if someone went on your Instagram and scrolled up and down, I'm not saying this is a hobby someone should have, but if you scroll up and down, it shows like a different, like how you've said things and when you felt the time was right to post something. So I think like
Yeah.
here as well, the first one was 2024. It's like, hopefully I don't delete it later, lol. And you didn't delete it and you left it. I'm just curious, like, did you want to delete it? And then what kind of made you feel like that's the time I want to post this on my Instagram?
You're talking about the Crohn's thing?
Yeah.
What did I post? What
So
was it?
so I think it's the first post you made about Crohn's, and that you've been
Oh,
fighting this. And
wow.
Yeah.
No way. Now I'm like, should I go check what
Yeah.
it wasn't the real saying it was like 5 years is before that?
no, that was the
No, what do you
next
think
point.
it
I was
was?
going to say, because you have like 2 different points now, and you've like made
That's
them,
so
but it's the
funny.
first one where you said like, I might delete this later, lol, but you didn't. I'm just kind of curious how you get to that point where you felt like,
Yeah.
I'm ready now to share this with other people.
Great question.
Yeah.
I think I went through so much hardship and just a lot of challenges with this disease that kind of like made me feel like it set me back. And I think I wanted to connect with people. I
Mm,
felt like if there's anything in this life that I want to do, um, it's to be able to connect with other people that might be hurting or going through something
yeah.
that they're hiding. And I always kind of said like one of the biggest reasons that I want to find any kind of success in acting is so that I can have a voice to talk about any kind of illness and stuff. And like I've seen how Crohn's has completely reshaped my life and changed who I am. And I didn't feel like being quiet about that anymore. I I think it came from a sense of feeling very lonely,
Mm.
very isolated, and I wanted just like someone. I was like, there's got to be somebody out there that feels what I'm going through, that's got some kind of health thing that
Yeah.
I could talk to them. And that's what happened. I started posting on my stories, I think, a little bit more, and people replied with just inc- people that I, hadn't talked to in years
Mhm.
Mm.
were like, "Hey, I actually went through this like battle with such and such, and I didn't want to talk about it. I was afraid to talk about it. Thank you
Mm.
for, now you're making me feel more safe and able to." Like I remember once
Yeah.
posting a picture of my scar because I had surgery, and somebody wrote to me saying like, "I was so ashamed of my scar, but you're making me feel like I can embrace it this summer, in a bathing suit or something."
Mm.
Mm,
And I think that's what encouraged me to keep speaking about it and keep like putting it on my grid. And my greatest goal with any kind of notoriety or anything is to bring attention to Crohn's and to bring attention to
mm,
autoimmune diseases. More and more and more of us are living with them, and it's not normal. It doesn't make sense, and it's not something that should ever be normalized. And we shouldn't just be like, well, yeah, that's what it is. That's life. Everybody's got something.
Mm.
No, no, this shouldn't be normal. Like this
mm,
No.
took most of my 20s away from me.
yeah.
Mhm.
So I wanted to connect with others, and if I could make a difference in any way, that'd be lovely.
Yeah. No, it
Yeah.
starts with just being open about it. Like you said, like you're not afraid to talk about it. You're not afraid to like answer
Yeah.
questions. You're not just saying like, "Well, I'm uncomfortable."
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like with me, both me and my wife are in the infertility community. And when they ask, because we've been married for so long, like, oh, why don't you have kids? Oh, we're infertile. And it's like, oh, that's so sad.
Mm.
No, ask me questions because there's so many times
Yeah.
you have to just hide it. And like every person that gets
Yeah.
married, they say, like, oh, we have to have kids right away. What happens to you if you don't? And it
If
just
you don't,
if it's devastating. But if you're not open about like whatever it is you're going through, everybody just hides and
you
everybody
hold a lot of shame.
yeah.
You hold on to a lot of shame, and I still am working through so much shame,
Mhm.
especially with a disease that has to do with your guts and
Yes.
the bathroom.
Mhm.
So, there's a lot of shame around that, and with anything, just like you mentioned,
Yeah.
it's like, just talk about it.
So
We're all going through stuff.
I wanna ask you, regarding Crohn's disease, because when I, say to people that we're in fertility, "Oh, you need to do this and you need to do that."
Ugh.
If you what are some things in Crohn's disease where you finally open up, you say you have Crohn's disease, what are the solutions that people might have for you?
Oh, I've heard them all.
Yeah,
Um,
top 3.
top 3, have you went gluten and dairy free?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I am gluten and dairy free,
Yes.
thank you, I've tried it. Have you oh my god, what else? Have you tried acupuncture?
What?
That's a big one. That's a big one. It's a big one.
Yeah,
I wanted to try it, never got around to it. But it's like I'm open. I was open to
yeah,
everything. Have you tried what else? Oh my god. There's acupuncture, there's the diet is the biggest one.
yeah,
Everybody
of
wants to tell you
course.
how to diet.
Be
Everybody.
organic, like, oh,
Yeah,
some
be organic, go or also like you should get rid of meat. Meat is really bad for you. And I'm like, well, meat's actually the only thing I can tolerate.
yes.
It's
Yeah,
like sorry. Like
yeah.
um yeah, I guess
Those are
those
the
three
big
kind of
ones,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
acupuncture, diet, because my wife, like, had I don't know if she'll be alright. She doesn't watch the show. But she also has, stomach it's not Crohn's, but she does have stomach issues. She's had, I can't think of what she had.
IBS?
No, it's not IBS, but she went to, like, a doctor's appointment for it, and I can't remember off the top of my head. Colitis. She had colitis.
Oh, colitis is the sister disease to Crohn's, but you don't get rid of colitis. You live with that forever.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, all the interpretations that she gets, and she
Yeah.
says the same thing about, like, "Have you gone away from meat?" Meat's the only thing that she can,
Yep.
and I'm
Yep.
pescatarian myself, so, like, I have to, like,
Okay.
make, a meat dish and a fish dish.
Oh,
So, yeah,
you're
like,
a good husband.
I try to be, but, like, there's all these different things that, like, I hear people saying to her, and it's just like, "Why?" You don't know.
Yes, everybody wants to give their unsolicited advice, and sometimes I'm open to it. When I'm not doing well is when I'm not open to it.
Yeah.
And you just
Yes.
kinda have to learn to
Yeah.
nod along because,
Yeah.
most of it is coming from a good place. They
Most of
want
it.
they not always,
Yeah.
but the people, it depends who you're letting in your life, but, I know that most of it is from a kind place that they're trying to help me, but yeah, it was definitely there were definitely days where I would go home like, "Can everybody just shut up?"
Yes. Yeah.
I don't want I you don't know my body, thank you.
Yeah. No, exactly. Like, including
Yeah.
infertility. It's just like, well, have you ever tried, man, oh, no, I can't even remember the one where it's, infertile treatments. I can't even remember the name of it, but yeah, we went through all of it. Like, we went through an infertility
Yeah.
doctor, like, we read all the books, and it just ends up being like, well, if it happens, if it happens. If it doesn't,
Yeah.
"Oh, but you need a kid. Why don't you?" It's like, if it happens or adoption, maybe just shut your trap
Yeah.
and let me live.
It's nobody's business. It's
Yeah,
nobody's business. Like, especially about kids. Like that's a whole like wow,
yeah,
it's people get way too
way too
involved in
much.
that stuff.
Mhm,
Like that's ridiculous.
yeah.
But
Like, I
yeah,
tell them
same.
all the time, like, I if they annoy me enough, I'm like, "Would you like me to list the positions we've tried? Like, would you how much would you like to know that we've done?" Like
Right? Like, isn't it so invasive? It's just
yeah,
so unbelievably invasive. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's less so like with Crohn stuff, they're just telling you how to eat or to go see
Yes.
naturopath. Naturopath was the biggest one I got too. Have you
Naturopath.
seen?
Yeah.
Because all my doctors were apparently failing me, according to other people.
Great.
So they're like, try naturopath. And again, I was open to it, haven't done it because I am more of like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna trust my doctor. Like
Yeah,
I am more
exactly.
on that side.
Yeah.
But
Oh my god. Have that
yeah.
anybody said anything about essential oils into your
Oh
body?
God, all of it, all of it,
All
all
of
of
it.
it, all of
Yeah.
it. So
Mm-mm.
yeah, I don't know if this is like boring for the pod, but like
No,
No,
no.
something that needs to be
It's
talked about too. Like, we don't know our audience, and
yeah.
some of them might feel shame.
It's true. It's true. You don't know who you might touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
our podcasts are built on knowing the actor more than what you think of Swan. We've always done that with the interviews because we
Mm.
personalize the actors, and your story is more important to us than, for example, like Lost Record and Swan, because like Michel's vision on Swan is a certain respect, and yours would be your interpretation. But like we value telling your story, and for the listeners as well, we've always been very respectful of Olivia's privacy, and we've even spoke to her about doing this, so she's been very comfortable talking about it. So it's like we always wanted to do that, but we wanted to talk to you about it because I feel like it raises that awareness even more for other people, and it's always important for us. And I know that I would ask you more about this, but obviously I'm a bit time conscious because we could talk about 4 or 5 hours. And I
Yeah.
know we've
I've
got you
got
for only a certain amount of time, and
15
we've
minutes.
already, yeah, and we've already pushed that over. So I've got just like 1 or 2 questions left, and also quick fire. So I thought we'd go to the quick fire. And it's loads of
Mm.
Lost Records questions, so it's a variation of things in the
Okay.
game. And I've got some context in case you haven't known certain parts of it. But I thought we'd just start with the first one, which is Fawn's Curse or Fawn's Rest, the little hideout that they
Oh.
have, which we're picking for the name. These are all canon as well. Whichever you pick, no one else can dispute this. It's going to go out,
Okay, so
Michel.
I just get to pick like at random my favorite or whatever.
Yeah,
Yes.
pick whichever. If you were playing the game, which one would you pick out of these two?
Okay. Probably would pick Fawn's Rest.
Okay.
Bingo. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
You're
put
like,
that.
wrong choice,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, it is the wrong choice. It's the wrong choice, but we'll move on anyway. So Olivia's title for Swan's self-documentary. So you're doing the Swan Show, As the Swan Turns, or the Swan Files.
as the swan turns. Is
As the
that
Swan
Ooh.
yeah.
Turns.
Yeah,
Have you
yeah.
Mm.
seen the X Files?
No, but I know all about
Turn it
it.
off. Turn off
Forgivable.
the cameras.
No, forgivable.
Oh,
Luke's the one we're after. Luke has never watched the X Files, and he works with Michelle. And
Lucas
I'm
never.
like, I'm
Yeah.
like, how do you have you how has that come about? But as you will, what is Olivia calling Swan's cat? Pumpkin, Snowy, or Shadow?
Oh, mm. Sn
Mm. There is
Snowy,
a
I
right
think?
answer.
So Shadow? No. Oh, I'd have to play the game 3 times.
Yeah.
Like, I love
Oh,
all of them.
They're all.
Yeah.
You,
you
you
have to
gotta go
pick one.
pumpkin. You gotta go pumpkin.
No, it's Shadow.
I it's I think Shadow. I don't know. I don't know.
There we
Moving
go.
on.
See, I can hear it in the voice. I can even hear the performance. It is
You did
Shadow.
say shadow twice. You did say it twice, so we'll give it that.
In the game, the girls discuss where they would travel. Where would you pick? Alaska, Yosemite, or Death Valley?
Alaska.
Okay,
Okay.
good
It's
shout. Good-
it's Canada adjacent. Oh, we'll take
Yeah, yeah,
it.
Yeah.
exactly. I'm just like, I don't want to leave.
What is Olivia picking for Swan's makeup at the Bloom and Rage concert? So it's glam, grunge, and goth. And to give you context with that glam, is Swan will have light pink slash purple butterfly shape around her eyes. Grunge is that Swan has dark pink and black eyeshadow and a dark lip. And goth is when Swan has all black eyeshadow and lipstick.
Ooh, like Olivia would go for glam, but also maybe for the sake of the game, grunge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
Now, does Olivia pet Gertie or not? Gertie's the deer in the game.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was
You'd
going
be
to
a
say,
Yes,
it says,
pet
monster
her. Yes,
if you didn't.
yes.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a
Well,
one-way sentence to
come
the
on.
abyss usually when I do that with people. I'm like, you're going into the abyss. That's what happened if you don't pet Gertie. Simple as
You
that.
gotta pet Gertie. Come on.
Last one from the quickfire is Swan's choice at the abyss, the flower, which is I wish to be free, or the hair, which is I wish to be strong. Which are you throwing in from Swan?
The hair.
Mm,
Nice.
I wish to be strong. Yeah.
yeah.
Nice. So my final 2 questions are, and we'll wrap up here. My first one will be, using the dynamic of the game, Swann's age, when she's 43 and 16, what would a 43-year-old Olivia Lepore tell a 16-year-old Olivia Lepore? You can just prank call if you want, but like,
um, th- I would just say you're on the right path, kid. Keep going.
Okay.
Hopefully, I'm not 43, so it's like I can only speak from like I don't know what 40. Imagine 43-year-old me is like,
Yeah.
well, you fucked up there.
Yeah.
Like,
What
like
advice would 27 you said?
yeah, I'm 27.
Yeah. What advice would 27-year-old Olivia give 16-year-old Olivia?
Um, just you do, so much,
Yeah. So
so
much.
much. So you maybe you don't have to be so. It's so silly to say, but you don't have to be so scared. Like I was
Mm,
very, very shy and very introverted, and I came out of my shell when I was in college.
Mhm.
So I guess it's so silly, but like maybe hate your body less.
mm, mm,
Don't have to be so. Yeah, it's like don't be so scared of like yourself, and you look great, kid.
mm.
Like
Yeah.
stop stressing.
Would you
Yeah.
listen to yourself at 16?
Sorry.
Would you listen to yourself at 16?
No, because I don't even like I can't I still don't listen. I'm like I think at every point in my life, we talked about weight a bit and like Swan stuff and like I'm still gonna like look at pictures of myself now and go like, oh, that doesn't look the way I want it to look. But then I'm
Mhm.
sure 5 years from now I'm gonna look back and go, what the hell was wrong
Yeah.
with you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic issues with mainly women, unfortunately.
Mm, preach.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We could talk for hours, and genuinely, thank you so much for your time. But I'm not ending
Thank
the
you.
podcast until you answer this last question. I asked it early on. What is Swann's favorite Taylor Swift song? We didn't address this. The podcast does not end at this point until it
Specifically
happens.
song? Specifically song.
Yeah, because
You
she
know,
said the
I can't.
albums, but like we
Oh
need a
my god,
song.
a song. Olivia can't even pick a song. Like
Yeah.
I,
Oh come on, you have one though. Even Olivia has one.
I think there's one that like stands out to me, but it wouldn't be Swans. Hmm. I-
Oh, here
there's,
we go.
but it's for a specific part in the game.
Oh,
Like
That's
it's not.
fine.
I did something bad.
We'll bring you on
That's
next time, and we'll do the top
that's the
five for her.
song.
that's the
That's
song
the song
title.
name.
I did
That's the
something
song.
bad.
I did something bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That
That's
oh, now you're testing me. Oh, that's
it's
from
in the Reputation out. Oh,
it's in
sorry.
Reputation. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's in Reputation, and it's, about doing something bad. So,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like that's
Okay.
kind of
Okay.
like all the girls' anthem by the end there.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. Yeah.
but
When's
I'd have to
when's
think on first half.
when's the Taylor's version of Reputation coming out?
Oh,
Yeah.
now
When?
that's a question that will get the Swifties going. Like, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, we do not know. It's terrible not knowing. It's been years we've been asking. Taylor, what are
Mhm.
you doing right now?
Yes.
Okay, moving on.
yeah. I think
Absolutely.
we'll bring
Yeah.
you back on, and we'll get all the characters with Taylor Swift songs. We'll do
Oh,
association
you're
next
gonna
time
have to
for you.
give me these like questions in advance. I gotta think
Wait,
about them.
I
Yes.
will 100% send you the Taylor Swift ones next time. We will
Oh, you have
100% make
to.
sure
You
we do
have to.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
But yeah, Olivia, thank you so much. It was an
Thank
absolute honor for
you.
us for this
Oh
podcast to
my
have you as well, and to have you tell your story, and even with the game as well. And as listeners will know, we could have asked you about 1,500 questions about the game, but I'm sure we'll have you back on as well because they would love to ask questions as well. And there's obviously, we need to have the association with Taylor Swift songs with each person as well. So
God.
we will
Very
100% set
important.
that game up for you.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I hope everyone's enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. If you are new here, one more time, please do consider dropping subscribe to the channel, turn notification, like the video, share your friends. Help support the channel, help keep up to date with the podcast. The podcast is available on all podcast services with Spotify, with a video version. It's all there. And Olivia, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you, and thank you to be on here as well. And I'm sure we'll definitely have you back on here to talk about this game. And yeah, it was incredible chatting with you. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This has been amazing. Thank
Thank
you.
you for defending pineapple pizza.
You're so
I think
welcome. You are so welcome.
I think on that note, we'll end here. But yeah, thank you so much. See you later, guys. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Oh.
Yeah.